Welcome to Papa Z's Bees. Today we're going to do a hive inspection on the kitchen hive. You can see the subtitle there, A Crazy Week. It really was. Just hang on and you'll find out why. The task list for what we're going to do today is pretty much normal for what we do this time of year. We're going to check on winter food resources to make sure they have enough to make it through, check for a queen or evidence of a queen, and the evidence, of course, as always, can be larvae or eggs. Check for Varroa mites, and if found, we need to figure out what to do, determine what kind of treatment to do. So here we go. Okay, today we're going to do just what we did yesterday for the corner hive, this time for the kitchen hive. Hopefully we don't have the same result as far as Varroa, but we'll just have to wait and see. A lot more bees. Okay, this is a little heavier than that other one was, so I have a feeling we've got some honey. You might look at one of the middle frames just to see. Yeah, there's some honey there, so that's good. That's we'll have a little bit maybe to harvest if they don't use it up, which is always a possibility. Now we got to check here to make sure that their winter storehouse has got plenty of stuff in it. And remember, we've got to have between 40 and 50 pounds of honey for them to make it through the winter. I'll just look at a frame or two just to see how it's doing. I can tell by the weight, but I just want to look. Yeah. Got lots of capped honey there, so yeah, I think they're going to be okay as well. So let me get this off of here. Yeah, this is heavy, so they're going to have enough stores for the winter. So now, just as we did yesterday, what we'll do is we'll look through here a little bit, find a frame or two if we have to of brood, that capped brood that we can shake the bees off of. And again, we use nurse bees because nurse bees are the ones that have just come out of the cells, and so therefore, if there are Varroa, they'll be associated with them and all over them more than they will over the foragers. Well, this is really light as well, and there's absolutely nothing that I see here, no pollen or no nectar, so it's not good. A little bit of nectar there. This is a little heavier. A little bit of brood there. This is different than yesterday, and these two hives have always been a little different. I think part of it may be because of the sun, the amount of sun they get. A little more brood there. Big old fat drone right there. Drones. We'll make sure that we don't have the queen. And we'll shake this one because it's got some brood on it. It's not nearly enough, so we'll have to go one more frame over. Yeah, they're not real happy today. Lots of pollen. We'll shake this one out if I don't find the queen. Yeah, I don't see the queen. Get that half a cup. I'm more a little concerned because I'm not seeing much brood at all. Of course, again, you know, this is the time of year when you may not because of her not laying much. Kind of worried here because I'm not seeing much brood, but there was some, but I didn't see hardly any eggs or larvae. Again, that's kind of a worry. Like I said yesterday in the end of the video, I've got some Formic Pro coming that we'll put on the other hive and this one if we do have an issue here. Hopefully we won't. Okay, so we'll put them back together and we'll check this and we'll let you know at the end what the mite count was. Okay, what do I do now? As you heard me say, I'm really worried because there's no brood. Take a look at a couple of these screenshots here of frames that should have something on them. You'll see in this first instance, you'll see some pollen and a couple of bees, but no brood. Here's a little more brood in one, and this frame should be totally full of capped brood, but there's none, and there's no larvae or eggs. Lots of pollen down below, but no brood. Here's another frame. Few bees. In fact, there's actually quite a few bees here, but still no brood, no larvae, no eggs. So what are we going to do? Well, we ordered the queen a few days later. We had been wanting to try the bee weaver queens out of Navasota, Texas, and they were about one of the few places we could actually get a queen. So we placed the order on the following Monday after the first video was made, and about Thursday of that week we got a package in the mail holding the queen and a little cage with a queen and 5 or 6 little nurse bees to help her to go through the process. So here we go with this video, and this video is unfortunately the microphone wasn't working, so I'm going to do a voiceover for this part of the video. We take the hive apart back down to where it was for the inspections, and we'll lay the queen on top. What we're trying to do here is to see how readily available or accessible or how ready the bees are to accept her is what I'm trying to say. And what you do is by laying this on here and let the bees crawl upon her on the cage here. There's a little screen and there's a little wooden cage, and the bees will climb up on this. And if they don't want her, if they think they already have a queen, then their rear ends with the stinger ends will go towards the screen like they're trying to sting her. If they're accepting her, they will basically go face towards her and start trying to feed her and take care of her. So that's what we're seeing, at least at this point. So we're going to let this thing run a little bit and kind of move it around a little bit because they're kind of even ignoring her, which I guess is another good sign, because if they were getting after her, then if her smell was something they didn't want, they'd be attacking her pretty quickly. And so again, they're kind of ignoring her. We'll put her back here, and like I said, this whole process took quite a while, but we're cutting the video down. And you can see quite a few bees here on the front, and again, they're all with their face forward and trying to tend her, which again is a good sign. So we'll pick her up here in a minute and we'll do a test. One of the things that you can do once you have the bees on there like this is if you can easily move them out of their way with your finger, and they come right back, then they're accepting her. But if they kind of clamp onto that screen, then they think they've already got a queen. So we're getting ready to do that little quick test here. We'll try it a couple of times, once today, and then we'll see what happens. So I'll put her back down, and there we go. I'm trying to move them out of the way, and sure enough, they're moving and will come right back. You know, kind of staying on me. So looks like they're pretty good shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the cork out of the candy end. You can see the white here, basically at the top of that cage. There's a white area, and that's candy that they put in that cage. And what will happen is you can see the opening there. We'll put the cage down inside, queen and all, in the inside between two frames, and if then the bees will chew through that, and the bees on the inside will chew through it, and they'll meet together and release that queen. That normally takes 3 or 4 days. One of the things you have to be real careful of if you install a queen in one of these wooden cages is that you don't put her with the candy side down, because if some of the bees inside there happen to die, they could stop up that hole because it's not a real large hole. So again, we'll stick this real tight against the wax in the frame, and then put it close to the next frame. And what will happen in 3 or 4 days, they will chew through her. Okay, today we're going to go in and release the queen. Yesterday, without the audio, we actually put the queen in there because we had some good behavior. They were trying to feed her and to tend her through the screen. In doing some digging and based on a reply from Fred Dunn, he recommends to go ahead and direct release her, which is good. So that's because I'll give her more time to lay since we've been without a queen for so long. So we'll quickly disassemble. Okay, so now we're in here where the queen is, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull her out from where she is. And of course the queen cage fell. I'm going to put her back up here, and just to make sure we're not again there, like we saw yesterday. This is, by the way, is a bee weaver queen, first one I've ever had, and I'm excited to try the genetics because they're really good genetics. Now you can see they're all over her, their faces down, tending her. So that's what we want to see. And the old Velcro test, as I read yesterday, is if when you get those bees on there, if you can move them easily out of the way with your finger like that, then they're okay. They're accepting her. So what I want to do, see, there's one trying to eat the sugar, and I just don't want to give them that long because it'll take several days for her to get them out. And let's see if we can watch her climb out there. You can see her in there. Well, maybe I just need to pull the screen off. And we'll see her come out. See her in there with the yellow dot on her back. She'll come out, and what we don't want her to do is fly away. There she goes, bless her heart. She's okay. She's down in there she is. I know she's looking like she's trying to fly, so don't want that. Okay, so
Now they've got their queen, and she can start laying. As one of the things that Fred was saying yesterday is that if you let her wait 3 or 4 days, however long it takes them to chew her out, then what you have is that many less brood, because there is no brood left in there now. So what this does, this allows her to lay more eggs quicker. 1,000 eggs a day is about what she'll lay. And if we wait until they pull her out, that's 2 or 3 more thousand eggs than what we would have otherwise. And that with the low population and getting this close to cold weather, we want to make sure that we give her the running start. So that's what we're going to do. Just to make sure that she's actually started laying. Hopefully we'll see some eggs here real soon.
Wow, it really was a crazy week. This seems to be what happens in the life of a beekeeper. Things happen that you don't expect, but you have to figure out how to deal with them. One thing I forgot to mention from the first part of the video, the first week where we did the Varroa check, it came back and we actually had only like 1 or 2 Varroa out of the 300. So that's a good sign, meaning we don't have Varroa problem at this point. We'll go ahead and treat them later. In fact, I actually treated them before we got the queen in. So since they're broodless, it's a good time to treat, just to knock out any Varroa that happened to be remaining in there. So we'll check back with a new queen in a couple of weeks or so and give her time to lay eggs, and hopefully we'll have some capped brood when we come back and check. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I know I sure did. Please subscribe. Hit the little notification bell, and that'll let you know when we have new videos. And hit the like button. That helps us too. We really appreciate you. Come back and see us. Thanks.